Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to another ranked game! Yeah! Finally! Actually, I did play one like last week or so against Putin. It's in the sorted out, unlisted video thingies. But before that, it's been a while that I played ranked. I don't play it very often because usually it's tough to find a game, but every now and then unless it's like an arranged game, every now and then I just see, can I find a game, maybe I can. People seem to enjoy these from time to time, and here we are. I am playing Red Unspec again, or still, or whatever. This is like the 4th or 5th version by now. I changed my A tab again. I did run tutorial for a while, but I don't think you ever saw a video of that. But right now I'm IDO 90 AK and one card of PGC 80s. I also changed my infantry tab a bit. I replaced, I don't know if I still was running Panzer Yakari, but currently I'm using Proletary 90 in the tab 71 instead. I'm also using the VDV in the Scratchat and Proletary in the BVP for some cheap-ish CQC infantry option, and still Yakari 90. I'm currently trying out 2 cards of upvetted M84A. I'm not gonna run 1 card downvetted, 1 card upvetted, because having the exact same unit twice in your deck, just once down and once upvetted, it's just, it's obviously not OCD. I don't wanna, use the term like that because it's straight up wrong, but it still just bugs me a bit. It's I guess it's in a way it's like an aesthetic type of thing. Gameplay wise, it may be potentially be the best option, but it just annoys me. But it doesn't really matter as much anyways. Like I said, upvetting the M84A. But like I said, I'm currently trying it out. Maybe 12 is enough, maybe it's not. I'm just gonna try it out until the point where I run out, and then I will consider maybe downvetting them again. But for now, I'm gonna try them downvetted. 1 minute. Nice guy. I don't know who that is, by the way. I completely forgot to mention. No idea who that is, or at least I don't know that player under this nickname. Maybe I know him or her. Who knows? Let's not kid ourselves. Anyways, what do I have? 3 M84As. I have AA. I have a mortar. I have some scratchets in case the IDO 90 dies, so I still have something against planes. I think I want a Proletary 90 to get into the town. This is where an M8 MTV would be amazing because of the rocket pods. The Mi-25 is not good enough to like stop, or not necessarily stop, but just hold a push into the town. I don't think I will start with the helicopter in that case. I guess an Mi-35 could do the job, but it's also too expensive for my taste. Let's just get some cheap Yakari, keep like 15 points safe, not a whole lot, but in case we need to buy something for this, it should work out. Yeah. The Alouette, however, will also make it easier for us to spot if the opponent decides to push somewhere else. And with somewhere else, I mean like literally just on the right side. Seems like they are. That is not something you see very often. Seems like they're just... Okay. Please unload, thank you. Get some more PGCs, let's get like a VDV 90 squad. Looks like they're not he's not pushing there. I don't know why I just panicked on this Baltic, by the way. Okay, they went like very light on the right, now I see what's happening. Very light on the left. Oh, the helicopter stunned the... Actually, no, you load back in there. Let's get something in there. Nice, nice. Going very well for us. Actually, use this for a flank here. I don't think I will need it in mid here. Just now. Honestly, let's be aggressive with this. Let's get you into the forest. Also get some base defense. Just in case. Alright. So that opener went really well for us. It's a Syria. I mean, I should really resupply the IDO 90, by the way. Completely out of ammo. Does look like either he's microing the Syria, which he did, okay. Also, I was wondering, does he not have line of sight, but he was just having the missiles turned off until he was close. Unfortunately, my A is out of ammo, so I didn't damage it, meaning it will be ready pretty soon again. So I have to watch out for that. The only issue right now is that he has something in here, but I don't think that... Well, I guess that's a GG. It's obviously... He's obviously in a horrible position. But from my perspective, it was like still he had like a 15-20% chance to win. Just depending, if I was too aggressive with my M84As and lost both of them to the Syria without getting his kill on the Syria, it wasn't that lost. Obviously looking, like I said, horrible and nearly unwinnable, but it's 3 minutes into the game, and Mudfight is a map where it is, I'd say, easier to make a comeback. From his side, because pushing Foxtrot is, I wouldn't say easy, but far from impossible. He did still have a position in Foxtrot in this forest here, which at the moment I still didn't really... I was not very aggressive in getting that out, because I wasn't 100% certain what exactly is in there. So depending on how I would have played and how aggressive and over-aggressive I would have been, I might have overextended and lost units unnecessarily, behind the M84A, stuff like that, and as a result could have potentially thrown away the game. Stranger things have happened, so it wouldn't have been the first time, but like I said, obviously I don't blame him, but at the same time it's only 3 minutes and the map has no 2-pointers, and I would have had to spend and even if I bought a CV, it would have only been a +1. So, like I said, this map is... Maybe it's not easy to come back on, but it's... it is hard to get a huge advantage or get into a position where I'm really winning hard. Unlike, let's say, Highway to Seoul, where you maybe, and if you somehow end up getting the second spawn of your opponent, that's like a holy shit. Now it's basically impossible to win. Or if it's like a punch bowl and you completely wreck your opponent's 2-pointer while also gaining mid and holding your flank or something, that's a huge ass position to be in, a crazy good position to be in. But I don't think it's very hard to, the way the map is built, it's impossible to get into a situation here unless you're literally in front of the enemy spawn. That's obviously a different thing. I hope I managed to get that simple point across in 5 minutes of talking worthless shit. Interesting though. At first I thought, alright, he napalmed here, he must push here. Then I thought, oh, there's a lot of shit driving down the road, so maybe it's just a distraction. And then I saw the helos, and maybe he's pushing there, but then I didn't see any ground unit, so maybe it's just also kind of, I don't know, and then he actually ended up pushing there, but the napalm thing was just worthless. 100 points for that piece of shit, it did nothing. It dealt 1 damage to the Conquerors, and I don't even know if that was a flat napalm thing or if that was maybe a ground unit that spotted it. Holy shit, that thing is oh my god, I thought it was maybe a 60 point. I didn't realize they had this shitty thing as a napalm version. Holy fuck. Oh god, might as well should have spent the extra 20 points to get a fucking Eurogain, my dude. Jesus, what's in the... Wait, is he playing Moto? I think he might be playing Moto, actually. I mean, you still should get a Eurogain, I believe, but yeah, okay, looks like he's playing Moto. Oh, by the way, that one transport is called Häkkinen. In case you don't know who Häkkinen is, Mika Häkkinen, 2-time world champion. 1998 and 99, I believe, world champion in Formula 1 in the McLaren. No, as you might imagine, I'm just trying to fill that air here. But no, in all seriousness, looks like he's playing Moto, and those are probably they're Finnish elite forces, but it most definitely looks like Moto. That's two different squads here. ADGM squad, it's 4. This is 5. 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different squads so far. Trela 1M is available Moto. BRDM 1 upvetted. Eriko is on elite. This must be a Moto deck. Interesting choice and hard map for Baltic Moto for sure. The only good thing that you can probably one of the worst maps for sure. I think you'd even prefer Hell in a very small place, even though that's not necessarily a Moto deck, but just simply because you can at least use your infantry efficiently there. Anyways, let's take a look at let me quickly show you the deck that I'm currently running. I think the deck that I was running on against Tech B was probably this one. I think this was still the one I was running against Tech B, AKM 2 PGC 80s. I was trying out a Tor, but then someone in the comments told me, "Oh, why don't you try out the ID90?" And I was like, and I was about to say the ID90 is a prototype though, and then I was like, I'm actually not certain about it, and I checked it, and it actually is not a prototype. And you might say, well, it says literally 90 in the name, and 1990 is not a proto, and you'd be correct. But for some reason, I thought, it's on the XA180 chassis, just like the KT, and really strong weapon on the X80 chassis must mean it's a prototype, right? Yeah, it's actually not. Before that, I was running HQ7 and Tor. And TechB, for example, really thinks, ID90 is not nearly as good as the HQ7. And I disagree. I mean, HQ7 is great, don't get me wrong, but the main issue I have with the HQ7 and the Crotin is probably the same issue many have. It only has 4 shots. And I mean, it's 60 points and has such a good missile. It has some sort of disadvantage, right? And they're perfectly fine for the price. Very good units. I still I think the ID90 is, even though it costs 25 points more, and in a way you could argue that's the exact same thing. For one, it has a bit more accuracy, don't underestimate that, and it also has more range versus airplanes, which actually is quite a big deal, I'd argue. But most importantly, just having 8 shots, meaning that, after dealing with a single helo where, you need 2 hits to kill and then maybe you miss 1 missile, you have 1 missile left and then you need a supply truck. So you could argue that the HQ7 costs, for my deck, for example, 90 points. Because as soon as it's shot against one target, you need to buy a supply truck, and I use a 30-point supply truck. At the same time, you could also argue that it's the same thing with a fob, right? You're basically paying upfront, and you arguably do that with the ID90 as well, with the extra missiles. So using the HQ7 is basically over the ID90 is in a way maybe the same argument for why I'm not using a fob in 1 versus 1 most of the time. If that makes any sense. Maybe I'm also just talking bullshit. VDV90 and Scratchet have been really good. I found them really useful. Gives me another layer of AA if I don't have a PGC80 or something else around. VDV90 themselves are just amazing, obviously, and being able to use them more freely and not just with a helo is really nice. Proletariat 90, I'm still kind of on the fence. I was talking with Nick the Man about this, and he suggested, and I thought about this myself as well, using the Lecca Perota. But the thing is, I want like at least 1 card of wheeled infantry, but I want this infantry to be able to be decent enough against infantry, which Proletariat 90 as well as Lecca Perota in a way are. But I also want them, for forest fights, and also want them to have decent anti-tank capabilities, which the Lecca Perota do not have. They're good for like defending towns, and even getting cheeky side shots on super heavies and heavy tanks, dealing quite a good amount of damage. But for forests, they're just bad, like you're actually bad. Not only, do they not have a lot of AP, the range at least means they have decent accuracy in forests, right? But they also only have 7 RPM, with like every other normal 10-man squad having 10 RPM. Even like an RPG7, right? And 7 RPM is just horrible, like actually horrible for forests. So that's the main reason why I'm not using them instead of the Proletariat 90. I might want to use them like for the Mi-17 because I currently don't have like a cheap heavy rocket pod helicopter in my deck. Might want to use those in the Mi-17, the Specialis, but then I don't have fast Hind transport. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. There's a lot of things to choose from, and there's a lot of things I want to fit in. People have also been, often saying, why don't you use the VP? The VP main advantage obviously being having a better gun versus vehicles, and probably also versus infantry. I'm actually still not sure how this performs versus the Yak-B ever since the Yak-B got nerfed, which was more than 3 years ago, and I still haven't really checked. And obviously it has twice the rocket pods, which versus infantry and like cheap vehicles is better. Only has half the missiles though, so I guess it's a trade-off of what I want to use it for. And since I just said it, I'm just gonna take a look at the stats of the guns, because this GSH compared to the P, if you look at the model, this one is fixed, meaning that if you want to shoot to the right, the whole helicopter has a turn, whereas the VP has a turret, so it doesn't. Let's take a look. You won't be able to see this, but I'll just tell you. I have the armory tool open. 35 Yak-B and the Mi-24 VP GSH. Let's compare the HE version. Okay, by the way, it doesn't show on the set card. The HE version of this gun only has 5% stabilizer. Seems like Eugen didn't address that or change that. The rate of fire is actually 200 rounds per minute for the GSH and 141 for the Mi-35. However, the Mi-24 VP has a salvo length of 4 and a salvo reload of 0.6 with a short reload of 0.2 seconds, meaning that it shoots 4 times, with 0.2 seconds in between, and then reloads for 0.6 seconds, and then it shoots 4 times again. The Yak-B on the Mi-35 shoots 8 times with 0.2 seconds in between, and then reloads for 2 seconds. I'd say that I think on the Mi-35 it would be better, because when you're panicked, being able to fire full 8 shots before having to reload again might be better. But I think versus infantry it's not really a huge deal. The extra range obviously helps on the Mi-24 VP, meaning that it also has more accuracy on top of the base accuracy. And then of course it has an AP gun. So maybe I should actually use that. You know what? I am going to do that because, I might as well try it out. I didn't really try it out a whole lot, so I might as well give it a try, right? Maybe I will be positively surprised. It's gonna be interesting to see whether I'm gonna miss the extra anti-tank missiles. It does get better ones, like with more AP. The accuracy is the same. We will see. Maybe I just have to micro the missiles, maybe, if I want to pay more attention to those. Yeah. Let me take a look at the other stats. I'm gonna be curious if there's an angle thing difference here, but I don't think. The Yak-B also has a bigger splash radius, quite a significantly bigger actually. So I suppose that when you're not actually hitting directly, that would help the Yak-B. Everything else, I'm just quickly checking if there's maybe some weird difference on the mobility of the whole helicopter that usually may be fucked up. Let me actually see the rocket pods. The rocket pods are exactly the same, it's just that the VP has more ammo. And I was thinking that maybe the VP could shoot 40 rockets before having to reload, but no, both can shoot 20 before having to reload. Yeah, basically just literally the same thing. Alright. I think that's all. You could argue that maybe this, but I don't like this helicopter. It's not. I don't think it's bad. However, if you just compare it, it's so much worse. And for example, first thing is it's worse than this, which is like one of the prime fire support helicopters. That arguably the best, probably the best that you can get. you know, for 5 points more, you get a great autocannon. You get more rocket pods, even though they have less HE, but I think that's better. You're faster. You actually also accelerate faster, in case you missed it. But also if you just compare to something like an MS-17, you get 4 fewer rockets, you know, that are basically the same. You have a high rate of fire, which isn't necessarily a good thing, because that means you might also waste more on the target that you might already kill with 3 rockets. They have a bit more suppression. They might also have a bit more splash radius, which wouldn't surprise me. But for, let's say, 5 points less, assuming you get a 20 or 15 point infantry squad like a AGS-17, you get fewer rockets and you don't get the infantry squad. You also do not get armor, which is actually against infantry, that isn't AA infantry, of course, noticeable. Obviously not against like actual AA, but against infantry, that 1 armor actually helps quite a bit, like actually. Though I mean, in all fairness, not as much against MS-17s, because MS-17s you don't want to fly over forests to kill infantry as you do with Hinds sometimes. So it won't come into effect as often as it will with Hinds, but it is worth talking about. But you know, it has to be said, the models of the rockets look amazing. So yeah, we wasted like 15 minutes talking about the game with 5-minute gameplay. Also, good old Gazex. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, I guess, deck overview and random rambling of units and a tiny bit of gameplay. Here's the deck again. You know, by the next time you'll be seeing this deck, maybe I'm already at 1.8 or something. This time around, I just wanted to keep the different versions of decks to like be able to somewhat keep track of the changes I made and see, you know, maybe have an easier time like going back to other changes and shit like that. Actually, let me call that 1.5 just because I can. Hello? Alright. Yeah, I'll be trying out the MI24 VP. I think I have to edit this one actually, so that it actually shows up below the proper 1.4, because sometimes if you copy a deck and then rename it, yeah, see, so now it's down there. Yeah, alright. So hope you still enjoyed the video, whatever this thing was. I'm up to 23 minutes, it's long enough for me. Yeah, I'll hopefully see you next time, whatever next time is.